Hi everyone, this is Giacomo Vaccari with a quick tutorial for you. So basically I've been trying to figure this out for a while now, and so it came to me last night in dreams, which is something that apparently happens a lot when you're programming. So you guys know that the character from Unreal, it starts up and slows down very quickly, like the acceleration and deceleration is quite quick. So that makes it very tight feeling, but sometimes that's not what you want. So I wanted to try to control the start and stop of the movement with a curve for my character, and I want to share with you how I did it. So let me show you first what the character does. You can see my controller on camera. It's an Xbox One controller, so I'll show you like complete, like when you can see when I release here, the character continues a little bit. He's got a little bit of inertia going on. And also, when he starts, let me do this with the keyboard. Oh, it's not detecting the keyboard now that there's a controller in. Okay, whatever. So I'll push it completely, and you'll see that he takes a little bit to start up. There you go. And he also like takes a little bit to stop. So that feels a lot more like this is an actual character in the world instead of like just you know, like something that someone coded. He's got to like put his feet on the right place and all these things, right? So I'll show you how it's done. It's quite easy, and that way we can also see why doesn't it let me control. Oh, of course that. Yeah, so let me just show you very quickly how this is done, and I'll make the example more obvious. This is yeah, this is like some old stuff just to show you, but let's get rid of that and let's make this a little bit prettier. There we go. So let me make it more exaggerated just so you can get an idea of this. I'm gonna make him take really long to stop walking. I'm using my laptop keyboard from really far away right now, so this takes a little bit longer than expected. Sorry about that. This is something else for another tutorial. Here we go. Acceleration. Let's make him wait really long to start accelerating properly. Let's say like almost, well, let's say half a second. Whoops. Let's do this. Select that. Add something here, and then there we go. Okay, just so you see that I'm actually controlling it with curves. There you go. He takes quite a while, and he takes really long to stop. So this makes him feel like he's some kind of like very heavy character that, like, you know, weighs like 500 kilos and like he takes really long to start and stop. I mean, this doesn't feel so great, but it's just for the example, just so you can see how it's done, so that it's actually a curve. Let's turn it back to how it was. Oh, okay, it's already gone there. Okay, the acceleration, boom, boom, boom. That's more or less where it was. The time is not gonna get there by itself because Unreal sometimes is weird like that. Anyway, so this is how you do it. So we have an input move forward and an input move right, the usual. The one that comes with the third person example. I simplified this because you don't actually need to do that matrix rotation that they do. So after both of the movement inputs are added, you want to check if any of those inputs is above 0 or below 0. If they are close to 0, that means that you stopped moving the character, or you stop pressing the joystick or the keyboard or whatever, and that means you're gonna have to decelerate there. Otherwise, it means that you have to accelerate if you are starting the movement. So what you do there is, let's start by the acceleration. So you have the button pressed, let me show you like this, and then you release it. Notice the gamepad. You release. As soon as you release, you want to do the acceleration once. So I use this a lot. Basically it means that if I come here I do once and I reset the other thing. There's no function for this in Unreal, but it's super useful when you want to exchange between two things that only happen once. So yeah, so you release, pop, you come in here and do once the acceleration. So what you're gonna do there is the character movement. I've tried doing this many ways, and this is like the easiest one, really. Really important thing, you need to have a very high acceleration, very high deceleration, or sorry, like a very low, and no friction factor. This is super important. Let's see. The acceleration, see, no deceleration. So what you're gonna do is actually set the deceleration and acceleration here. So what's happening here is like we release the input, and we have basically no deceleration initially, almost nothing. The usual is 2048, so 86 is nothing. Then I increase it a little bit, and then I increase it a lot. And this is actually where he's gonna stop probably, because it's a very high deceleration. If he doesn't stop there, he's gonna stop here anyway. But yeah, let's do like let's put it as I did it before. So what's gonna happen is like he's gonna go normal speed to a little bit slower, starts accelerating, and then whoa, I decelerate a lot, right? But all this time in the middle that you are looking at him, he's still like kind of feeling like he's moving by himself. The same happens with acceleration here. I believe this is 0.4. So he almost doesn't accelerate at all at the beginning. Very, very slowly. Let's make it even slower. So nothing at the beginning, very much like Mario 64. He's like kind of skidding, and then he starts gaining speed, and then he accelerates quite properly, about like actually pretty quickly. But it doesn't matter because he won't go over like the maximum velocity, like the maximum walk speed anyway, which is 600 in this case. We could say let's do 900 just to see what happens. But it's basically the same, right? So it comes through here. I stopped touching it. I do once this, and it doesn't matter what happens here afterwards because he's already moving, right? So what about the opposite? So like I start pressing, I come in here, I reset that so I can use it later, and I accelerate. So because I have zero acceleration initially, I mean basically like I actually have it set up very high here, but it doesn't matter. I could just like do this, and this is gonna take over it and set it up. As I start moving, as I start pressing my input, he's gonna start accelerating and taking that acceleration, right? So it doesn't matter what you have here because it's gonna be overridden by that, right? So let's take a look at the controller, and it's not working. Let's check why. Let me just put this here so I debug it. It's not coming in. Why? I think it's because I set the acceleration so low that it actually doesn't even start moving. So let's say 1. Yeah, so he couldn't even rotate and start basically. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so you need some acceleration. Like, doesn't matter if it's 1, 0.1, it will be taken over very quickly, or like a crazy number. It doesn't matter. This is, as soon as you are moving a little bit, this is gonna take over. There we go. There you go. So he starts very slow, then he starts fast. Okay. Let me try to show you the graph, as you also see the action happening here. I'm using the controller so you can see how I release. There we go. So as you see, that do one system only happens at the beginning, because we check that there's input or there's no input, then we do it. So that's one way of doing it. I'm sure there's other ways, and probably some that are better than this, but this is the one that I figured out. So yeah, It's a little bit exaggerated right now, obviously, just because I wanted to show you guys this, but it actually, like, we were testing it this morning at work, and it was awesome. Like, we could make him feel very heavy at the beginning, then like we made him into someone who was skating a lot, you know, like this super action character ninja kind of guy. So yeah, definitely go crazy with it. It gives really interesting results, and yeah, I hope you learned something, and let me know if you enjoyed, and take care.